Rohit Mehta stared at the blinking cursor on his laptop screen. The email from the CEO was clear. We can't afford another compliance breach. A year ago, his company, a leading pharmaceutical manufacturer, had faced a heavy penalty due to non-compliance with regulatory filings. The news had made headlines, investors lost confidence, and the board had called for heads to roll. Rohit had barely managed to hold onto his position, but the stress never left him. Meanwhile, across the city, Priya, CFO of a plastic manufacturing company, had a different but equally pressing problem. She had always prided herself on financial discipline, but compliance? It was a nightmare. The regulations kept changing, and the complexity of managing compliance across multiple locations and functions was overwhelming. Last month, an unnoticed compliance lapse had cost them a government contract as it was blacklisted. Coincidentally, both CFOs attended same seminar on regulatory compliances. At a business conference, Rohit and Priya found themselves seated next to each other. Listening to industry experts talk about automation, real-time monitoring, and integrated compliance solutions, they both realized compliance wasn't just a burden, it could be a strategic advantage if managed properly. However, after the seminar, their paths diverged. Rohit, determined to turn things around, decided to champion the adoption of a compliance framework immediately. Sitting in office, he dialed his batchmate who was championing the cause of compliance automation with his reg tech company. He had been receiving several WhatsApp messages about all the webinars his friend was doing on the topic. After a quick call, both decided to have coffee and discuss a possible solution. After the meeting, Rohit wanted to give the solution a try and started building consensus for implementing a SaaS-based compliance management system. It required effort, investment. Pushbacks from some employees were expected, but he knew the cost of non-compliance was far worse. Priya, on the other hand, hesitated. She acknowledged the importance of compliance but felt the company was too busy with other priorities. "We'll revisit this next quarter," she told her team. The cost of implementation seemed high, and she wasn't sure if the immediate benefits justified the effort. The system they had in place, though flawed, had worked, mostly. For Rohit, the transition was tough. The initial months saw disruptions as teams adapted to the new framework. Some employees resisted, calling it bureaucratic overkill. There were financial pressures too, as the system required ongoing maintenance. But soon, the benefits became clear. Regulatory filings were no longer missed, audits became smoother, and investors started noticing the company's proactive governance. When a new regulation came into effect, Rohit's company was already prepared as they had been receiving timely legal updates on it while competitors scrambled to catch up. Rohit had fewer sleepless nights, knowing they were on solid ground. Priya wasn't as fortunate. The next quarter never came. Compliance remained an afterthought, managed manually with outdated processes. Then, an unexpected audit exposed critical lapses, resulting in a hefty fine. Worse, a major client, wary of governance risks, pulled out of a multi-million-dollar deal. Priya was left scrambling, justifying the lapses to the board, firefighting issues that could have been prevented. The stress mounted, and whispers about leadership failures grew louder. She now realized that delaying compliance had cost far more than the initial investment ever would have. Compliance isn't a glamorous function, but its impact is undeniable. Implementing it comes with short-term pains but long-term stability. Deferring it might seem convenient, until the cost of inaction comes knocking. Request a free demo to learn how we can streamline your compliance management.